one of the, speaking of strikes and movies being affected by it, Deadpool 3 got delayed. Unfortunately, it's really too bad too, because like it was right in the midst of production. Images were coming out from set, like images like this one. Images were coming out showing us Wolverine and Deadpool. I mean, things that we've been dreaming for years to see. The movie's been delayed, but it is still a movie that we are very much looking forward to and cannot wait to see. Now, there have been a lot of talks, pseudo reports, speculation, and rumors about who and what might be popping up in this. There's a couple of people that we know for a fact. Jennifer Garner. That's actually been officially confirmed. Jennifer Garner is returning as Electra in it. I can't even begin to describe my joy over this particular circumstance. I'm very, very happy about that. But there have been a lot of others. Some have had some credibility, some more than others, and things like that. Well, the good folks over at Screen Rant put up a really interesting article that basically was their thing of the 12 Marvel cameos rumored to appear in Deadpool 3. Now, that was an interesting approach. So I thought we would take a second here and go through the ones that they're listing off and talk about what percentage chances that we think the 12 rumored characters that are appearing. Now, remember, all the ones we're going to see here have been the source or have been the subject of at least a couple of rumors online that these are happening. These aren't names that, Screen Rant is pulling out of thin air. These have actually been rumors. Maybe some will be true, probably most of them not. So I thought we'd go through them here and see which ones they've got listed and which ones we think actually have a chance.
It's going to be Multiverse of Madness all over again, and I'm going to do so fucking bad.
All right, let's get things going here. And starting with a spicy one.
Spicy.
Daphne Keane as X-23, Logan's daughter. Listen, Logan, I believe, is a top 3 greatest comic book film of all time. I'm on record about it. It was the first comic book movie in history to be nominated for Best Screenplay at the Academy Awards. I personally thought Patrick Stewart should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actor. I really do.
Yep.
Patrick Stewart in that was just incredible. But everyone loved Daphne Keane. Her playing off of Hugh Jackman was incredible. And she didn't just disappear. It's not Wheel of Time. What's the other one?
His Dark Materials.
His Dark Materials. She got a leading role now. By the way, she's about to be in the Star Wars universe. Mm-hmm. She's going to be in The Acolyte. Now, I remember when this movie first came out, Logan first came out, people said they should just do a spinoff with her. I said, well, I mean, I don't think she can speak English really well. Well, I don't know where I got that assumption from because she speaks perfectly good English. I had no idea why I thought that. Like, I heard her talking on an interview. I'm like, you would never know she speaks anything other than English. Like, why did I have this thing in my head that she just, I have no idea.
She's that good in Logan when she's only speaking Spanish.
She really is that good. She convinced me that that's the only language she's ever spoken her whole life. So there you go. I'll ascribe my ignorance to her great acting talent. It's her fault. That's right. You know what? I think this is the best one on the list, but I think one of the least likely. And I don't know why. Maybe it's because she can't speak English. I just, for whatever reason, I can't qualify it. I'm going to give this a 40% chance at best that Daphne Keane, although one of the biggest pops I think you get in the audience is by having her there. Anyway, Chris, Daphne Keane is X-23. What percentage chance would you say of this actually happening?
Okay, I first of all have to say I would love to see them in this movie together, but it's already so overstuffed, and this would be a very emotional thing too, potentially. Otherwise, it's, who the fuck are you? Why are you here? I don't have a kid. What the hell? But I don't think it fits the tone of what this movie is going to be. And Deadpool always has been a secret romance. Like, it's been a secret rom-com. It's been fueled by love, and it just happens to be very foul and violent and everything. That's what gets you into the theater, and then you get your heartstrings pulled. But I think this is a little too much, especially after that gut-wrenching daddy that she says in the movie. Like, that is, it is rough. So I would give this like a 25%.
All right. By the way, that one scene when they get back into the car and she just starts giving him shit and like speaking in tongue, I'm like, I love this girl so much.
She's incredible.
Oh, she's so good.
If you can see her audition tape still online, that it's amazing. She's like climbing all over stuff. She's wild.
All right. So there's that one. Let's get on the next one here. Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier. Let's bring that up, Jonathan. Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier, Professor X. Honestly, out of everything on this list, this I think is the most assured one that's going to happen. There's a couple that get up close to this, but Patrick Stewart himself a while ago started teasing this a bit. He actually in interviews teased a little bit that he may be appearing in Logan. And after seeing the two of them together, like getting a lot of really good screen time together in Logan, again, I thought Patrick Stewart should have been given an Academy Award nomination for this. And given that my theory about what this movie's about, and this is a completely unfounded theory, I have no proof of anything. It could be a big wild stretch. I think there's a Deadpool variant. It's going to be a play on Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. I think there's going to be a Deadpool variant who believes the reason he never got into the MCU was because of the Fox X-Men, and that this Deadpool variant is going around killing all the X-Men, and our Deadpool and Logan team up to try to stop that guy. If that is anywhere even remotely close to true, which I have no proof or validation that it is, then you got to have Patrick Stewart. But again, because he's been teasing himself, I'm going to go as high as 90%. I am almost certain that he's going to pop up in this. What do you think about the chances of Patrick Stewart being in
You
there?
don't think that's a little too been there, done that after Multiverse?
I think it could have been too been there, done that after Logan, but they did it in a multiverse anyway.
That's fair. That's true. Also, is the variant going to be the hideous sewn up mouth Deadpool?
I didn't even think about that.
That'd be great.
Let's bring back that abomination.
Because, there have been some rumors and reports lately. It's not on this list, but we talked about it the other day, Liev Schreiber coming back. I mean, so if it was that Deadpool, that would be such a moment of catharsis for Ryan Reynolds himself to do that.
And then ultimately to kill that character.
To kill him. Anyway, back to Patrick Stewart. What chances do you give it?
Let's go like 65.
65. Okay, I'm going to go 90 on that. So you're going to go 65. Yeah. All right. And you can't have a discussion, of course, of Patrick Stewart returning without the legendary, the great Ian McKellen as Eric Leshner, a.k.a. Magneto. So one of the greatest photos I've ever seen on the internet is Ian McKellen wearing a t-shirt that says, "I'm Magneto and Gandalf, deal with it." I love that. Seeing in X-Men Days of Future Past, I thought that was going to be the last time we would see Patrick Stewart's Professor X and Magneto together. And I love that movie. I think Days of Future Past is a top 10 best comic book movie ever made. I love that movie. We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this episode, DraftKings. Football is back and in full swing with another week of epic games. And who's got you covered on the action for every single one of them? DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can bet $5 on football and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Nobody's missing out on all the action this season. All DraftKings customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every game day this September. So get in on the NFL Week 2 action with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use the code CAMPEA to sign up. New customers can bet just $5 and take home $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with the code CAMPEA. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. See dkng.co/football for eligibility, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. He's a big reason for it. Ian McKellen's still acting. He's still going. And I hate saying it. I don't know how much longer he's going to be acting. And if you have an opportunity and Ryan Reynolds loves Ian McKellen's Magneto, I think if Patrick Stewart's going to be in there, I would almost put it on the same level that McKellen will be in there. By the way, second only to Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds' bromance is Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen's. They've got some videos online of them touring London and all this kind of stuff.
They're so cute.
Oh, it's like one of the best things, heart-smiling things ever in the world. I'm going to give I love these
So
guys.
they were doing Waiting for Godot.
Oh, these guys are the best. I'm going to give it an 80%. Not quite as much as Patrick Stewart, but I'm going to give it an 80% that Ian McKellen shows up. What about you?
See, I would go 80 for Ian McKellen.
So you would say, in your opinion,
Yeah.
there's even a greater chance that McKellen shows up than Patrick Stewart.
I think so, because then you get to do a meta line too of Well, you keep getting Patrick Stewart. I don't know why no one calls me. I have a BAFTA. Go for
I have
that.
a BAFTA. All right, let's move on to this one. Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda Maximoff. All right. The one little bit of credence I'll give this is with her ability to kind of jump around multiverse a bit and to warp and change reality. That is something that could play into what the concept of Deadpool 3 could be. I'll give it that. That being said, I got nothing else here for this, right? First of all, it really does sound, when you listen to interviews from Elizabeth Olsen, I loved being in the MCU, but I'm kind of ready to move on. Like, I don't know that we're ever going to see her come back. And if she is, I just don't see any real connection between her and the Deadpool character at all. I'm not going to say it's impossible because they've pulled off some strange things in the MCU, but I'm going to give this one a 10% chance. Chris, what about you?
10 sounds right. I feel like if you're going to bring her back, this probably isn't the movie for it, unless all of a sudden, Deadpool 3 is a linchpin kind of movie for the Marvel Cinematic Universe and decides who exists where and everything. Kind of what I thought would happen with Multiverse of Madness. I thought that's what we were getting from it. But I'm trying to temper those expectations. You could have, nice mom version of Wanda pop back up, and then we get that version of her, and that also brings the kids in as actual real entities. But I don't think the Wanda we know, who went full,
villain,
spooky, black fingers and all, trying to play with the Necra, whatever book that is. I don't think we're going to get her back at this point in time.
All right, let's move on to this one. This one's interesting to me. Channing Tatum as Remy LeBeau, also known as Gambit. Of course, you guys will remember that they officially announced a Gambit movie before the Fox got bought by Disney. And at Comic-Con, they brought out Channing Tatum on stage with Hugh Jackman, with Ryan Reynolds, celebrating. This was a Fox panel, this upcoming thing. And there's a lot of photos of Ryan Reynolds with Channing Tatum. Channing Tatum, of course, recently appeared in Ryan Reynolds' movie Free Guy. He was hilarious in that. These scenes were so funny. And listen, while a lot of people guffawed initially years ago when they heard Channing Tatum as Gambit, I have always, that's a great picture of them. I have always maintained, I actually think Channing Tatum would have been a really good Gambit. He's got the pure physicality to do it. He's got the look. He's got the moves. And listen, he has developed himself into a really fine actor. Not one of the world's best, but a really fine actor from a guy I used to think was one of the worst in the business. But he's developed a lot. And you know what? This could be our John Krasinski as Reed Richards moment. They weren't going to make John Krasinski Reed Richards, but so they thought, we got an opportunity here for just in this one movie. Let's pop him in there for a couple of scenes. I think that could be that moment for Channing Tatum. I'm going to go as high as 70% that Channing Tatum will pop up quick, but will pop up in this movie as Gambit. What do you think the chances are?
This is my big gamble one, 90%.
Ooh.
All right.
You're like, this one's going to happen.
Listen, when we first reported on this rumor back in July or August, Channing Tatum had said, losing this character was like losing a friend.
Right.
He was so devastated over this. And to get very Hollywood gossip about it, last night, Ryan Reynolds, Taylor Swift, a whole bunch of other people were out having dinner. Ryan Reynolds likes working with his buddies.
Yeah.
And if he can make a buddy of his have a really lovely memory with a character that he did not get to play prior, I think he'd push for it. I really, really do. And I know that's not always how the business works, but you look at someone like a Taika Waititi where it's, no, my whole goal is just to make movies with my friends and with people I like. And I feel like Ryan Reynolds is on that same path of, why work with people I don't enjoy, and why not work with people who I can make sure they have the best time possible once this movie gets to go back into production.
Right. And he was legitimately excited about Channing Tatum as Gambit.
Yeah.
When it was going to happen. So that's something to keep in consideration. All right, let's move on to this one. Halle Berry as Storm. This is one that is also way up there for me because, as they were filming Deadpool, pictures came out of Halle Berry re-rocking her Storm haircut and coloring, going along with everything else. it's to the point that I will be surprised if she doesn't pop up in this. I'm not going to go quite as high as Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart, but I'm going to go 75%, a little bit even more for me than Channing Tatum, just because of the images that came out on her own social media while they're shooting Deadpool 3. I'm going to say 75%. What about you?
I'd go 80. I mean, the hair really seemed to be a kind of indicator of everything. But then again, Storm's hair wasn't particularly consistent throughout the series. So
no, but I mean, the coloring,
Yeah.
it was very Storm looking.
Sure. But maybe Haley was just like, you know what? I rocked this before. That looked great.
It's true. It's true. All right. Let's move on to one of the OG on-screen X-Men. Famke Janssen as Jean Grey. You know what? Considering what my guess of what the premise of this movie is going to be, it would make sense for her to be there as an OG. I mean, you're talking about with Logan, it's really about love interest a lot of times. And there is no other real love interest, like as real as his with Jean Grey. But I feel like her appearance at the end of Days of Future Past was her goodbye. I don't think she's going to be in this, although it would make sense for her to be in it. So I'm going to make it a pure coin toss because I don't think she will, but no other character makes more sense being in there given the connection to Logan. I'm going to say it's a straight up coin toss. I'm going to go 50% on this.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't want her in this.
Really?
No, I got so sick of Jean Grey just always being around. And so in this, please just be like, why won't you die? I mean, personally, like Jean Grey is not one of my favorite X-Men. I do not enjoy historically how she's written. I don't like a lot of the choices she makes. And then in the X-Men films, I was just like, can we, bye. Okay, bye. Stop appearing as like visions to Logan and stuff like that. No.
All right.
That's my own personal preference though.
Well, you can't talk about Jean Grey maybe being in there without James Marsden as Cyclops. Probably the most misused James Marsden has ever been in. I mean, listen, I have a big soft spot. I love a lot of the X-Men films, but one of the biggest mistakes ever made was their misuse of James Marsden as Cyclops. They just did not use the character right. James Marsden is maybe hotter right now in his career than he's ever been. Coming off of Sonic and that damn, what was that?
Jury Duty.
Jury Duty, in which he is gold.
He's incredible in that show.
So good at Jury. My favorite moment of Jury Duty was when he's in the other guy's hotel room, blows up his bathroom. They leave a big fake crap in the bathroom. And the guy whose room it is comes out, and James Marsden's like, "Oh, that was there when I came in." It's like there's no one else that could have been in here. Marsden is so good, but again, it would make sense for him to be there. But I'm going to give this one a push as well. I'm going to make this one the same as I think the two.
Yeah.
I think if one of them appears, the other one will.
More than likely.
But I think so. I'm going to go straight 50% on this.
Yeah, I would go coin toss on that too. I would love James Marsden to be in this too, though, because this was at a time in his career where he was always that other option guy, right? The Notebook, where he Enchanted, even it was always
he's so good in
and he's
Enchanted.
great in that, but was always I'm gonna pick Superman, with Brandon Routh. He was always the other option guy.
Yeah,
and that's what he still inevitably was as Cyclops, which was not nearly as interesting as it could have been.
You know what he's really good in and nobody talks about? Anchorman 2, as he plays the rival guy in Anchorman 2. He is the perfect looking other newscaster dude. I thought he was great in that.
He's really funny.
Oh, he's so good. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Vessi. Now, like me, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of Vessi, the shoe that claims to be incredibly comfortable and waterproof on top of that. Well, these claims are really interesting to me because as a Canadian who walked around in a lot of snow, and as somebody who likes to go camping and hiking with his wife on the weekends, there's nothing more uncomfortable and horrible than walking around in wet feet. So after receiving my first pair of Vessis and noticing how incredibly good looking the shoes are and how mind-boggling comfortable and flexible they are, the first thing I did was I took them into the
backyard to put it to the supreme waterproof test and dipped my feet in my pool. Guys, my feet were bone dry. And like 20 seconds after having them in the pool and I touched them, the shoes themselves were also bone dry. Guys, seriously, these shoes are stupidly comfortable. They look great, and they absolutely lived up to the claim of being waterproof and keeping my feet dry. I absolutely love my Vessi shoes. So guys, if you want shoes that are good looking, are ridiculously comfortable, and on top of all that waterproof, you need to head to vessi.com/Campea and get yourselves a pair today. Go to vessi.com/Campea and get shoes for your best summer yet.
Okay, let's move on to this one. Ben Affleck coming back as Daredevil again. I mean, after all, it's official. Jennifer Garner is coming in as Electra. It would make sense, except I'm going to say no. I don't get me wrong. I would love to see it. I'm one of the few people in the world who says Ben Affleck's Daredevil movie is a really good movie. You take out that teeter-totter scene, I would say it's a great movie. I really love, I mean, that teeter-totter scene is one of the worst sequences in comic book movie history. It's so bad. But other than that, I love Colin Farrell in it. I love Michael Clark Duncan as Kingpin in it. I love Kevin Smith's little pop-up in it. I love John Favreau as Foggy.
Oh.
I really liked this Daredevil movie. I don't care what anybody else says. That being said, I don't see this happening. I don't see Ben Affleck, who's been doing the I'll quickly reprise my role as Batman a little bit. I don't see this happening. I really don't. I'm going to give this a little bit of a better chance than, say, Wanda. I'm going to say 15%. So very, very unlikely. What about you?
I'd go like 40% on this, actually. You know, especially he did the cameo for DC. I think he'd do it again for Marvel. Again, there's great meta jokes that can be made here too about, you know, why do I not get to do more movies? Why am I always in these one and dones and then ensemble pieces? This is bullshit. And he and Jennifer Garner get along really, really well. They co-parent and everything. So I think they would have a nice time on set together too.
Okay. Next up, this one Ray will be interested in.
Ooh.
Wesley Snipes' Blade.
Happening 100%.
Any Blade? Any Blade?
Not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Of course.
I think if they're going to put any
filmed the
Blade
scenes.
on screen, it's got to be Mahershala Ali. I mean, listen, if the Mahershala Ali Blade movie had already come out.
What's that?
Yeah, what's that? Don't know what you're talking about.
He's in denial phase.
If the Mahershala Ali Blade movie had already come out, I would give this a higher percentage chance. But I think they've got to keep any Blade talk right now focused on their Blade. I don't think, maybe Ryan Reynolds would want to do it. I don't know, but I don't think Marvel will let this happen. So I'm going to go, again, they've done more ridiculous things. I'm going to go 5%. 5% chance. You know, maybe I'll go 10. 10% chance this happens.
But Ryan Reynolds was in a Blade movie.
That's true. You know what? He was Hannibal King.
20%.
He was Hannibal King in Blade 3.
Yeah,
You know
we're
what?
raising this.
I'll take any Blade right now.
Yeah.
Just give me some sort of
Shit,
Blade.
that's a very compelling argument. Fuck.
I think, honestly,
I have to raise my 10%.
so much of this, and I know I keep saying like people are friends, these people get along. I really think that's what a lot of this movie is going to come down to, is Ryan Reynolds being like, you know, it'd be really silly if I get to do
You
this.
silly
And like I
dude.
said, remember what the code name of this film was when they're tidal wave. And I always thought that meant tidal wave of
You
characters.
have Deadpool 3.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But here's going to the Blade Trinity thing. David Goyer, who I believe wrote and directed Blade 3, was famously attacked on set by Wesley Snipes. And one of the things, the commonly believed things that was really at the heart of it, was the fact that David Goyer was basically making this movie. What was the name of them? The Night Stalkers? That was Hannibal King. And,
Right.
And Jessica, I forget Jessica
Jessica
Biel's
Biel?
character's
Jessica,
name.
I don't remember her
But
name.
that he was kind of upset that he just basically made Blade a secondary character in their movie.
Right.
So maybe that's a door Wesley wouldn't want to open again. Then again, Wesley doesn't have a lot of doors to open right now. So you know what? I'm going to change my 10 to 20.
Okay.
I'm going to change my 10 to a 20. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. All right. Let's go to this. I can't believe I forgot about the Blade thing.
Doom.
All right. Julian McMahon is Victor Von Doom, a.k.a. Dr. Doom. All right. I'll tell you why this is interesting.
It's not. What are you kidding, man? You're a great actor sometimes.
But I'm going to tell you why it is interesting. I believe that Julian McMahon as Dr. Doom is one of those situations where you had the right guy in the wrong movie.
that's fair.
I really do. I think Julian McMahon was a good choice to play that role, and I think he could have done something really cool with it. It was the right casting in the wrong movie. And there could be an opportunity there. I believe McMahon would do it in a heartbeat. And I think there could be a little bit of an opportunity there for something fun. Do I think it's likely? No. By the way, our own Aaron Cummings played a love interest of Julian McMahon in Nip Tuck.
Aw.
Anyway, so I'm going to go. Oh, and I really liked him in The Runaways too. Oh, I really liked him in The Runaways. I'm going to say 25% actually, which is higher than I think most people would give it. I'm going to say 25%. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, like 15. We don't, I mean, we.
That
are
was their
getting
number. That was
Fantastic
Screen
Four.
Rant's number 2 pick.
Yeah.
Man,
Well, I don't think these are ranked. I don't think these things are ranked. I think it's just in 12 of them. All right. That leads us to the final one. And this is a more recent one that's been going out there. Maybe spurred by dinner pictures of Ryan Reynolds and her, but Taylor Swift
Yeah.
as Dazzler.
or just as Taylor Swift.
Or just as Taylor Swift, just making a cameo as herself. Okay. I don't think it's going to happen. And, you know, you might want to say, be tempted to say, but John, she's the biggest act in the world right now. Her movie's selling out all over the place. But you know what? Her movie's selling it because it's a Taylor Swift thing. Putting Taylor Swift in a movie does not get people out to watch the movie. Look at Cats. Nobody went to go see Cats. They highly publicized that Taylor Swift was in Cats. The one little movie she just did that was a failure on every level with all the stars. Amsterdam. They put her in the trailers. Taylor Swift. Ain't nobody went to go see Amsterdam. So I don't see it. Look, the only way I can see this happening is as Chris said, you know, Ryan just likes to work with people he likes, which is why he invited me to cameo in the movie as well. But my schedule's full.
Yeah, you're scared.
He does like to work with people he likes. Taylor Swift is a huge Ryan Reynolds fan.
Mm-hmm.
They are friends in real life. And maybe she just sees it as a big kick to do it. That's the arguments for it. That's why I will go as high as 30%, but I think very unlikely. Chris, what do you think?
I mean, it's fun casting. We technically have had Dazzler already, though, in X-Men Dark Phoenix.
Yep.
Was housed on stage for just like a quick second in a music video kind of thing.
But we've had multiple Sabertooth.
Sure.
We've had multiple, yeah.
And that's part of like the ridiculousness of all of this too. But I don't know if Taylor is going to show up as Dazzler.
Does it have to be Dazzler, or will she? Can you
Well,
guys
that's
just say?
the rumor. The
Yeah.
rumor is she's going to be Dazzler.
But you guys are predicting just her appearing. It doesn't matter what character.
Her showing up
right?
as herself, I think, is more likely.
I mean, I agree that her showing up as herself is more likely. I still think it's highly unlikely.
I think it'd be great if then Deadpool tried to hand her a sparkly leotard and was like, put this on.
Wear this. It'll be
You
so
should write
good.
this movie, Chris.
Thank
I'm telling
you.
you. 95% from me. Taylor Swift's in it.
Ooh.
right. Guys, question is for you. Which ones of these do you think are the most likely? Which ones do you think are the least likely? Go ahead and let us know what you guys think. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show Podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.